Hello all and welcome back to the channel. So today I am very excited. It is a big day. 2 weeks ago, I think 2 weeks ago to the day, I made a big batch of candles over my Christmas holiday. It was something that I wanted to accomplish in the Christmas holiday. I wanted to start trials for the new fragrance oils that I got way back in the fall. Those oils were actually supposed to be for November. They were going to be character candles for my NaNoWriMo project, but as we know, my NaNoWriMo project kind of fizzled out and didn't go very well. Plus, things were just really busy. I didn't have enough time for NaNoWriMo, let alone NaNoWriMo candle making. I'm still sort of working on like my formula and the ratios for my candles. I tried to do 2 candles per fragrance oil with the same wick. I bumped up the wick size, but one candle will have slightly less fragrance oil and the other will have slightly more. This way I can kind of figure out what amount of fragrance that I need. Fortunately for some of them, before I figured out that system, I had 2 different variables changed. So for one of my fragrances, I had a different wick size and a different fragrance oil amount. That'll make it really hard to compare. I don't know why I did that. Once I figured that out for the rest of my trials, I just changed one variable, which should make it easier to figure out what works. I'm working with my 2 fall scents that I was using back in the summer, so they were both sort of apple themed, but then I also got 4 new ones for my NaNoWriMo characters. In order to test them, I need to burn them in different rooms of the house, otherwise I'm not going to be able to tell which one has the stronger scent. What I'm going for is a scent that is like strong enough that you can walk into a room and smell it, so it's not like pointless, but not too strong that it like makes you sick or is just overpowering. I know with my first batch, I could barely smell them at all, which was frustrating. So right now, I have my lavender candles burning, one in this room, one in another room, so I'm gonna go and check that one out. This one I can actually smell as soon as I walked into the room, so that's exciting. The lavender one I really like because it's sort of a cologne-y vibe. When I showed it to one of my brothers and asked him what it made him think of, his first response was something in the shower. And that is definitely true. As soon as you smell it, it has sort of like an Old Spice kind of masculine scent. I like that. I tend to gravitate towards more masculine scents anyway, and because this was supposed to be a scent for a male character, it works perfectly. My other scent is very like banana heavy. It has the smell of like banana bread or like a banana themed baked good. Number 3 was a very like linen-y kind of scent. What was the last one? Lavender, linen. Oh, the last one, I didn't get it with like a specific character in mind. It was more of just like a test. It seemed like something fairly neutral. It's vanilla with some like nutty blends going on too. And at first when I smelled it, it was supposed to be for a guy character, and I was like, ooh, like this smells very like bakery. It seems very sweet for a guy. But then the more I smelled it, the more I got the sort of like undertones of like more musky or like masculine cedary kind of scents. Now I totally smell it as a guy scent, which might be like the expectations that I brought into the candle. I've sort of made it a masculine scent because I need it to be for a guy. I can smell the lavender one from here. That's like a good 7 feet away. I need to check the other room now. I'm afraid that it's going to be too much. Before I do that though, a little bit of a writing update. So I mentioned in my last video that one of my resolutions for this year was to do some writing every single night. And so far, that seems to be going fairly well. I've only been doing it for a couple days, but I'm enjoying that nightly routine. I'm finding that if I tried to do my normal method of just like writing out in the living room like amongst everyone else, as much as I enjoy that, it's not super conducive to productivity. Sometimes it is, but most of the time it's like I'm more hanging out than I am writing. As much as I like being comfy and I like just the relaxation of that method, I think I need all the help I can get to like stay focused, stay on task. So what I've been doing is doing what other authors really suggest, sequestering myself away. I hope I'm saying that word right. I just really wanted to use it. Turning on my music, having a candle burning, and just creating like an inspiring atmosphere for myself where I have to just sit and be on task. Last night though, I had actually a really productive hour and a half or so of writing, and I actually didn't do much writing. It started out with just me like having an awesome conversation with my one brother about my plans for my story, bouncing some thoughts off of him. And after that, as much as I wanted to like write, I realized that before moving forward, I think I really need to do some more hardcore outlining for this next sequence that I'm heading into with my fantasy project to avoid like an avalanche of revisions in another draft. There are a lot of like threads that I'm not really sure about in this next part. Instead of just ignoring that and writing like I normally would, it was like, no, I don't want to have to deal with all this later. I'm going to be smart about this, work on my outline now so that when I do sit down to write, I'll be confident in where the story is going. Plus, I actually chose to do that instead of like watching a couple episodes of Good Luck Charlie, which would have been fine too, but I felt good about the decision to do writing instead. I have also finished a book in the first week of January, and my goal was to finish 3 pleasure novels by the end of the winter, so I only have 2 left. I really want this semester to be productive, not just in school stuff, but in all the other things that I want to get done. I want to just be disciplined enough that yes, I stay on top of school, but I can also like have a life and do some of those things that I want to do during this semester, and normally just I let them slip through the cracks, like candle making. So on that note, without further ado, let's go test out these candles. I have 4 candles burning right now in different rooms in the house, which hopefully like the scents won't mingle together. I don't know, I've never done this before. Right now I'm really getting the lavender and I'm enjoying it thoroughly. That's especially good news because this is actually the candle that has less fragrance oil in it, which would be great if that was the ratio I end up going with, because then you use less oil per candle and you have to pay for less oil. For me, that's awesome because my source of fragrance oil is in the States, and I don't even think they ship to Canada, so I have to get it shipped to someone I know in the States, and then when they visit, they bring it up to me. So if I have to use less per candle, I will take that. In the meantime, here's another bookish thought for you. The book that I just finished reading was actually annotated by the author. I found myself like enjoying the annotations as much as I enjoyed the chapter itself. It was such a great study in story, and for someone that normally doesn't really read a lot of stuff like that, like I've never read Save the Cat or any other writer's craft books, except for one that I did actually have to read for school this year, which was great. It was so different than just a writer's craft book where it's like, okay, this is how you write a story. It was someone talking about their personal experience while writing the book and their thought process, things that maybe his editor didn't like but he disagreed with, or things that his editor didn't like and he had to fix and saw why it was a problem. I just thought it was so valuable. I felt like such a nerd. Look at me just geeking out over the annotations on this story. And then after that, I just felt so inspired to work on my own stuff. It's amazing to me how God can bring inspiration into our lives in the exact format and at the exact times that we need it. Like obviously he knows that I struggle with things like the formulaic writer's craft book or hardcore research. Those are things that I really have a hard time getting into. I have a hard time motivating myself to dig into stuff like that, paying attention to it. So I'm really thankful that he has brought these sort of other ways of learning writer's craft into my life, inspire me through certain books or certain writers, or something as simple as like an annotated book where you're just learning from the author's voice. Like, God is amazing. He knew exactly what I needed at the exact time that I needed it. This is why creative pursuits are just made so much better when God is a part of it. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed this random combination of writer vlogging and candle making. 2 hobbies kind of mashed into one, but it works. I mean, variety is always good. Feel free to like and subscribe or share with anyone who you think would be interested. And if you have any ideas for candle names, I would love to see those in the comments below. I'm really struggling to come up with like clever scent names to go with lavender, banana, chestnut, or linen. I don't really want to just say lavender, banana, chestnut, and linen. I would love to see your brilliant ideas and to credit you when I actually get around to label making. I wish you a super productive and blessed week, and as always, do not forget to spend some time in the clouds today.